And welcome back, everybody, to this live stream with Creative Redundancy. And you may all call me the one known as CR. So hopefully everyone's doing well. My little impromptu stream from this Monday. Cloudy Monday at the moment. I already saw rain. Again. So hopefully everyone's doing well. It's been a while since I've been on live. I know that I've been quite busy, to say the least. Just have a sip of my coffee here. What's up, Gary? I see you in there. Virtual fist bump. G2 in the house. How's it going, man? Hopefully everything's going okay with you. Nice to see you again. Yeah, it's been a while since I went live. I don't even. I'm trying to remember. Did I even go live last month? I'm pretty sure I did, but yeah, it's been a while. I mean, we're already in the third week. Well, technically fourth week of the month, because technically this month's 5 weeks. But yeah, I mean, yeah. No, this is more like a blog slash, I don't know, podcast. I don't know. I get just doing stuff on the side. Just trying to clean up some stuff while I'm doing some stuff around here. You know what's really useful? Did I ever mention? You know what's a very useful thing? Right here. This thing right here. This has been useful. Nice little battery bank. It's full. It's got a clip on it. Even's got a phone stand. Like, I've shown this before, but how many times have you seen a battery bank with a clip? And yes, I got a Ranger band around it. It's just something I have. It's been very, very useful, too. Really glad I picked this up. I think I picked it up for like $1 or something like that, right? I mean, it's not gonna be the highest capacity, and it's obviously been used before, so it's the number of recharge cycles is probably, obviously not fresh. So, but I've been able to use it for a while, and it's been very useful. Oh, you got a thunderstorm coming? I've been seeing a few in the last week or so, in the last week, since last Monday. Saw 2 or 3 at least. Some crazy lightning at times, right? Almost to the point where it wasn't like, the thunder wasn't that close, but close enough, right? Like, you know how sometimes if it's really, really close, the thunder, also the lightning, but the sound, like you can hear your windows like vibrate just because that sonic boom that the thunder makes, right? It's just like, and you just hear that rattling. And you're like, yeah, that's pretty close, right? That's a really good indication that's pretty close, that sound. Within, let's say, a few kilometers, a few miles, right? Versus something that's more in the distance, just rumbling in the distance. Oh, look who's here in the nick of time. Mr. Nick. Nick's like my, biggest fan. Maybe I should show my biggest fan something here. I should really show. Maybe, I don't know. You know what else has been very, very useful? I see. You know what else has been very useful? This. Right here. One of these guys, huh? Hi, Uncle, I see you. I appreciate you stopping by. See? For my fans. Only. But yeah, this has been so useful, this item. I'm trying to modify it slightly to get some more functionality out of it, but yeah. Like, I got one, right? Well, it's a 2-pack, but, like, even my other friend now has one. And they're a big fan of it. No pun intended, but yeah, because it is quite useful, and I've actually figured out a couple other things I can use it for. Apparently, I can also like cool down my phone with it. Apparently, which is quite nice. So it's more multifunctional. So, like if I'm heavily editing or whatever, and rendering stuff on my phone, I can actually use it to cool down my phone, so it doesn't overheat, for example. Or it could be some other electronic device, right? Yeah. I knew Nick would like that. I knew Nick would be like, yeah, I'm on top of that. On top of that. So yes, I've been quite busy around here lately. And unfortunately, because I'll actually say this, unfortunately, due to circumstances, events, situations, I had to quote unquote get rid of some prepping items. Nothing like major, but I had to downscale it, let's just say. I mean, I still have the core elements, right? Also, some food, some water, right? But some of this other stuff like that, it's just the way that it all happened. I'm like, yeah. Maybe I'll show a video on this. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I do have to back some B-roll footage for it, but I don't know. I was thinking about it, but because I remember, I know Nick, maybe even Uncle Al, seen it, my community board post that I posted last month about it. So, yeah. But I do greatly appreciate everyone that dropped by on that post and shared some words, right? Which includes Modern Refugee and some other people, and Jackie too. She was nice enough to drop by. So I appreciate everyone that did drop by on that one. And not only that, I appreciate everyone that's been dropping by on the 5-gallon bucket challenge. Even though mine's like more like 2, but I appreciate everyone dropping by on those videos. That series of videos that I've been posting. I actually have to make another update video soon. I actually need to pretty soon here. And remember, today's the 20th of July, so you probably won't see it for a little bit. I'm trying to remember which video I have for this Friday here. Trying to remember. I know what I have for next Friday. Next Friday on the 31st. Yes, I actually decided to put swing in a video for the 31st, and then chime it in for something special. So when you see it, you'll be like, oh, so that's what you're swinging in. Yeah. I'm just chiming it in with something else. And it just happens that it's coming out on a Friday, and I usually post on a Friday, so yeah, why not, right? Why not? So yeah. So like I said, I've been clearing some stuff out. However, it gives me a good opportunity to refine some of this prepping stuff that I have. I'll show you guys something. I still actually have this. Hey, what's up, Lee? I see you in there. I still have this, by the way. See, it's still here. Hold on a sec. Feels like my lens is... Yeah, there's something on my lens. Hold on a sec. Alright, let's try that again. Yeah, that's better. I forgot to wipe the lens beforehand. Something I've shown before that I've shown before. So that was like a tongue twister. I still have this, by the way. See? Even the button that I used for it. Something I have had for a while. I mean, this doesn't take up that much room. I've been reorganizing some stuff the last little bit here. Trying to get some things sorted. I mean, like, I also have this item right here, Brandon. What's up, Howie? I see you in there. See, I also have one of these things. Let's take a look, right? Let's take a look. One of those tarp things here. We're repairing a tarp and stuff like that. So the grommet section and stuff like that. I haven't had to use it, but I've had this for a while, actually. I've had this since last decade, right? I think I got this in 2018, maybe even 2017. Probably 2018. Yeah, probably 2018. You had to get your glasses, Nick. So yeah, I've had this for a little bit. I actually had to use it, but it's just something I have, right? You know, peel and stick repair tape. I don't know. I just happen to have this. Well, yeah, keyword right there. Apply to clean surface, right? So it's just something I have. I've had this for a little bit, like I said. Let me put this away here. Now you're preparing for some fish camp and some fall planting. Nice, 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 Howie. I haven't harvested too much yet at the moment here. However, I do have flowers growing. Let's just say I definitely do have flowers growing right now. As I try to put this tarp material back in the box here. Like I said, I do have some. I appreciate the thumbs up. Yeah, I do have some flowers going. Let's just say. Perhaps I'll show a video on it. You know, like I think I don't know if you were there, Howie, when I said oh yeah, you were there because oh yeah, now I remember because you said cool or you wrote it right. At that time I actually had 5 different flowers growing, all different, right? You know, different species or whatever, variety, not just a variety, or on a different plant, but like totally different flower types and stuff like that, right? Including daisies and some herb plants. Pink, yellow, white, some pink too, some purple. It was quite nice, actually. I mean, it's faded since because it's been a while, right? I think I told Howie something, or the chat that, whatever chat that was, like, a couple weeks back, so things have changed since. Especially since, like, it's been raining. I mean, not as much as I seen last month. Ooh, dang! I saw so much rain last month. I felt like last month was like a 3 or 4x for the rain for the month. I was just like, that's how much I think I saw. Oh yeah. Nick, yeah, Gary wears glasses too. Actually, so do I. And some other people around here wear glasses, right? So, maybe even reading glasses, right? You know, I'm nearsighted, so as in I can see up close. I cannot see 20 feet away too much, right? Or at least it's more blurry, right? But yeah, like I said, just trying to reorganize some stuff. I've got some stuff laid out right now, just dealing with it. So let me ask you guys doing something productive for today or the week? Or preparing something in advance? I know Helly's preparing his fall type garden setup, or seeds or plants, maybe transplants, I don't know, something like that. Once I move some stuff around here. Yeah, you too, Nick. Yeah, I mean Nick, Gary. That's cool. So like I said, I'm just moving some stuff around here right now. Just some things I have laying around. And some other things that, well, they've seen better days, let's just say. They've seen better days. Oh, you're working on a new channel intro? Well, I guess that's good, right? I guess that's good. At least you can see that your arms are getting shorter, right? Just saying. But yeah, like I said, I had to do some stuff like, just, like, I'll show you guys some con material. Hey, actually, I can almost make, hey, maybe I can make a CR ad. Look. Wait, there we go. Yeah, I made the CR out of it. Oh. Well, you better start with that green thumb, Howie. Dang. You've been weighted down, eh, Gary? Dang. Yeah, just some con material I had to cut up. And, could have mended the shirt. Yeah, maybe, but there was so many holes, right, in it. I'm just like, and I got plenty of shirts, right? Con shirts, for example, right? So I decided to try to reuse it, or at least parts of it, anyways, right? So that's what I've been doing with it. So all the big sections that I have with bigger whole pieces, right? I just kind of made, a really big rag out of it. I figured I might as well actually try to reuse it in some way. Give it a little bit more life, right? This is a shirt I had for so long. So long. Actually, more like, so long, t-shirt. But at least I'll be able to still kind of use parts of it, at least for a little bit, right? For some other reasons. Oh, yes, you know it, Nick. You know it. You know it. You know I would cover the CR in there. It's a reoccurring theme here, right? It's part of my vocabulary. It's part of the CR vocabulary, right? I tie it together like cordage. Helps me express my creativity. Right? And besides, it helps me create some content, right? And all that stuff. We have a sip of coffee here. But yeah, I mean, I've had to rearrange a lot of things and stuff like that. But like I said, I had to downscale a few things. All right. Unfortunately, some items, it's just unfortunately I cannot. But at least some of them, I was able to quote unquote recover, right? So it's just the way it is, right? Perhaps I'll do a standard long form content video about it, but I mean, like I've said this before. Wow, I've wrote it before. At least I know that. But who are you without your gear, right? I kind of think about it, all right. Like, yeah, the resources out there, right? The food, the water, the containers, the cordage, the cover, those combustion tools you got, whatever it is, lighter, torch, ferrocerium, storm prevention, all that stuff, right? Who are you without it, right? Yeah, do we require some of it? Yes, we do, right? Obviously the water, right? Part of it, right? A nice container to put the water in would be nice too, right? Regardless if it's plastic or glass or metal canteen or water bottle, right? Like you do need some of it, right? Do you always need it? Nah, probably not all the time, right? But like I said, if you have coffee, the coffee's not have to go in the cup of some sort, probably, right? I'm pretty sure not everyone's drinking out of their percolator or their coffee maker glass container. I'm just saying, right? Like, right? Usually we pour it into a cup of some sort, right? Mug or something like that, right? So, yeah, you kind of, it's nice to have, right? Is it a requirement? Maybe not so much, but, it is still useful, right? Hey, it's Sandy. Hi, Sandy. How are you doing? Really, Nick? Really? That's like, I gotta post that. Post that. I should just highlight that right there on the screen. Oh, I'll even screenshot. Oh wow, I'll even screenshot it. Screenshot. Straight up, I gotta highlight that. But yeah, sometimes, like I said, you have to downskill, right? Just you're moving, or well, I'm not moving, but or something happens, right? Because unfortunately, things like wind, water, and fire, and some other things can take that away from you, take that resource away from you, or make it so it's not usable again, right? For example, right? So this is why, like, this has been a good experience for me because it really makes me remember, like, the important stuff, right? And stuff like that. Gear is nice, but, that knowledge and experience is useful too, right? And of course, life itself is important, right? Like, even around here, like in my immediate area, right, there's been, like, a few isolated, very, very localized events, right? Some dealing with fire, some dealing with water, right? So, like, and, like, I hear about this, right? And, like, it kind of reminds me, maybe it's not so bad here after all, right? In my own home right now, in my own shelter, cover, right? I got cover, roof, right? Some other people out there just like, yeah, they lost a lot. Maybe a home, their shelter, their quote unquote castle, their mighty steed, as in a car or whatever, because they're in floodwater, right? Like, think about that, right? So keep that in mind when you think you're having a bad day. Remember, some other people out there are just like, they're going through. Well, just let's just say they're up the creek without a paddle, right? Yeah. Hi, Verna. I see you in there. Take care, Gary. Nice, Sandy. Nice. Yeah, I know out east, right? For you guys in Minnesota, Ontario, and their quality's horrible. It's probably still warm or hot, however you want to say it, right? And all that stuff. It's just like, yeah, just kind of, right? That's why I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, maybe things aren't as bad as it seems, right? At least, at least I still have some of the resources, right? Not completely without, let's just say, right? Because it happens, right? It happens. And I guess it's part of the preparedness journey too, right? Like, you gather, obviously, skill, knowledge, and gain experience, right? But obviously the resources to gather is part of it. It's just, like, even a minimalist still has something, right? So, like, it makes you realize how other things are important too, right? Or and stuff like that. Like I said, like one of my subscribers, like actually, like it'd be funny if they show up, but like they're without a home right now, right? And pretty much living day to day, let's just say, right? You know, but for them, their battery bank, you know, block kind of went, right? Just stopped working, right? So, and they've been streaming to kind of make some watch time and monetization and all that stuff, right? So, like something else, like I have a battery. I showed one earlier, right? Just something as simple as that, right? Maybe that costs, let's say, 10, 20, whatever dollars, right? To them, it's worth a lot more, right? You know, is it worth more than water and food? No, right? But, it's as important as the phone itself almost. Hard the charging cable, right? So something to keep in mind. Hey, it's CB, guys, look! She's here! Hi! You get 90s in it? So that's 32 Celsius for everyone else. Because 86 is 30, 95 is 35, and so forth and so forth. Hey, she's here. Aw. It's nice to see you again. Yes, see? Straight up, she's like, hi, CR. Hi, CB. But yeah, like I said, I realized that like, don't get me wrong, I still have some stuff, right? But, but luckily, I kinda protected some of it, stored it in different spots, right? So the loss that I had in terms of the gear and the resources, yes, there was some loss, but it wasn't a total loss, right? Because, like I said, some people out there dealing with that water and that fire out there, some of them don't have much left over, Yeah, they survived it, but, they're kind of up the creek without a paddle a little bit, right? They're going to have to, find some resources out there, all right? The food and the water, obviously, right? And all that stuff. Oh, yes, it's good to see you too. It's good to see you too. I should make that in a song, eh? It's good to see you too. Dun, 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 dun. It's good to see you too. I'll dedicate it to CB here. I'll be like, it's dedicated to her. But yeah. Like I said, so this is why lately I've been just like thinking to myself on the resources, right? It's been getting me thinking a lot more. Like, if you think about it too, right? People that have these yard or garage sales around, regardless if you see them or not, generally people know about it, or the buy and sell, or what? Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, all these buy, that's that kind of stuff, right? These are people that are willing to give up these resources or sell them because probably they cannot use them anymore, don't have use for them, or they have too much of it, right? So, like, sometimes that could be a great resource if you need said item, whatever it is, right? Maybe it's a battery bank or whatever, right? So, sometimes it's nice to keep an eye out for that, right? Every so often. Just so you can be like, let's say, pick up a battery bank or something like that, maybe a charging cable or whatever, because you have a couple extra bucks to buy one, right? You just need one that works, right? And you don't have the funds or the resource, the monetary resources to buy a new one, right? And yeah, there's places like the dollar store and all that stuff, but sometimes you can get better quality that's been used or secondhand from online buy and sell or like freebies or garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and stuff like that, right? So like, something to keep in mind. Like I was actually some friends I know around here were having some yard sales and stuff like that, so I managed to score up some resources, right? And all that stuff, right? And I actually did help them with this, right? Like, and I'll say this straight up. When I said originally I helped them, right? Because for anyone that hasn't done one, or everyone's probably been to one, right? There's a degree of work that goes involved, right? Because like if you got stuff on your lawn or driveway or whatever, well, you're gonna bring it back in after. Let's say it's Friday. Well, it's not Friday, but if it was Friday, right, you have to bring it back in so it doesn't get stolen, whatever, right, or get rained on or whatever, right. So there's a lot of work in bringing things out and bringing things back in, right. The pricing or whatever, that's pretty self-explanatory, right. Usually you don't have to change that too much, right. And people haggle and stuff like that, trying to look for a bargain, or you'll see the OBO or best offer kind of deal. Make me an offer, blah blah blah, right? And there's a lot of work that goes involved, especially if you're bringing out stuff like tools and stuff like that, or things that are heavier, let's say, and stuff like that, right? Or more bulky, right? So something to keep in mind. But yeah, I decided to help them out, and then I said, yeah, I'll help you out. Or they're like, CR, yeah, you don't have to, man. I'm like, no. This is to be nice, right? And they were nice in return. Don't get me wrong. Some of these people were actually very nice in return, right? But the reason I did this, not because of some monetary value, the resources, some freebies or whatever, right? My real reason for it, right? And I told them straight up, right? It's because community, right? Community. It got me a chance to kind of talk to these people outside of just walking by, or just walking by, or they're walking their dog or whatever, right? Outside of that, right? And then kind of more relaxed environment, right? And stuff like that. And some other things, right? And besides, I got to find some more interesting people, I just say, right? Out there to kind of be like, oh, that could be very useful down the road, right? And some other things, right? And I actually, because like, a little bit later, like literally on the last day or whatever, they kind of had this quote unquote outdoor barbecue, right? Charcoal and stuff like that. Man, those burgers were great that night, right? Like, like, like I'm mentioning food, and I swear my mouth's like starting to water. I'm like, oh yeah, those burgers were pretty dang good, right? Like I actually had the burger with no toppings or nothing, right? Just bun and burger, right? Because I wanted to taste the food without the additional stuff like tomatoes, BLT, or anything like that, right? So no mayo, no ketchup, no mustard, right? Just on its own, right? Just to taste it for myself, right? What's up, Scott? I see you there. Misty Mountain Man. But yeah, I found out so much more about these people, and honestly, I shared a few things too, right? But I also had a chance to meet someone too, right? And I don't know what this connection, this relationship, this platonic relationship will lead, right? but at least, quote unquote, my foot's in the door kind of deal, right? They know who I am, they know where I live kind of deal. They see me around, like, and it's funny. It's funny, right? I saw they drove by. I was going for a walk, and they drove by, and they're like, "Hey," like, but they were like turning, right? So they couldn't stop and pull over and talk. But I was just like, but that kind of thing, right? Because I realized like resources are important, and so are the skills and knowledge and experience, right? But those connections we have with people are important too, right? Because sometimes you need that help. Sometimes you don't have the resource, right? Let's say you're missing a certain part or whatever, maybe you can go ask someone, right? You know? And it could be an emergency too, and then, like where you'd be like, hey, I don't usually ask, but something major's happened, right? And maybe they would understand, right? Maybe they would understand. Or at least try to help you out, right? Maybe not physically, but maybe with some resource that they can spare, whatever, right? If it's dealing with water, let's just say, right? There's been issues, right? Or let's just say they lend you a fan or something like that if it's a heat wave or it's really, really hot out, right? And, there's power outage in your neighborhood or whatever. They're like, hey, I could spare one, right? You've been nice to me, CR. I'll help you out on this. And it's just like, it always reminds me, it's just like trying to pay it back forward, right? And that just take, but, or take, but try to give or take. Oh, wait, give and take, or, yeah. But you guys know what I mean, right? Like, just kind of just getting your foot in the door and just coming and seeing for yourself, right? Like, it's funny, like this guy's talking about, like, oh yeah, I had to use my jet boil to make coffee, right? I'm just like understanding it, like it's like the lingo, right? I was just, oh, so you got one of those canister type of stoves or whatever, right? I didn't say it, but because I was just listening, right? Next time I talk to them, I'll be like, I'll probably say something about that. But I was just like, I knew exactly where these people were going with, right? The conversation, right? Even the more technical, I'd say, brand names, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I know what you mean, right? I know what you're talking about and stuff like that, right? And we were kind of joking around too, right? Like, I do admit that I did actually, like, I've said that I've not been drinking that much, right? Well, technically last month I actually had twice. However, these were social events for me, right? I wasn't there to get drunk, let's just say, but it was more community building, I guess, right? Something that kind of can help bring people together, right, and stuff like that. Just like how you guys are coming together right now. I see Scott and Hugo are chatting it up and saying hi to each other. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. But yeah, this is why lately I've been like reconsidering some stuff, right? Like don't get me wrong, I got some stuff laid out, right? Like, I definitely got some stuff laid out. Bunch of stuff I have to go through and stuff like that. Stuff I have laying around, and some things I realize I'm like, how some people out there in the preparedness community have a reserve of stuff, something for a rainy day, right, and stuff like that. But how much of it do I need, and how much of it am I actually using, right? Or would it be more beneficial if I downscale a little, but try to help someone in return, right? And pay it back forward, right? And kind of try to, right? Try to. I'm not saying like, go give up your your Mora tool to someone, right? Maybe not quite like that, right? But maybe something else that you can kind of help someone else with, right? For example, I mean, yeah, you're listening. Okay, you want to have a drink with me? Okay, Hugo. Okay, yes. I mean, CB. Yeah, you totally get it. I've been offered to your neighbor, and you worked with an RN, and they live down the road. You've helped them out changing breakers before. Yeah, yeah, right. Because I think that's important, Scott. Like, and also everyone else here, because if something happens in your neighborhood, in your community, in your district or whatever, right? It's those people that are around you that are trying to improve the situation. However, they can, right? You know, even if it's a couple hours to a couple days or weeks, right? I mean, because when people come together, usually join together or come together or unite together, right? Sometimes things can happen, right? Things can get done, right? Or that saying, many hands make light work, right? That kind of saying, right? You know? She got it. You know? But yeah, I mean, some more important things, right? And yes, which was, see, I still have this. Right? I might actually update this. Remember, I have shown me using this relatively in one take. Back last year, right? Maybe I'll do it again just for fun. Right? Are these perfect? No. I get there's some effort in there, right? Cause like to quote unquote inhale it in. or I'm trying not to use certain words, but you know what I mean. There is a degree, and I've been hearing this from someone else, right? The difficulty. Are they ideal? No, right? You know, gravity fed or a pump action one is probably more efficient, right? Because you can get a better flow rate overall. I mean, still better than nothing, but I mean, still better than nothing, right? You know, because I was just going in and just I'm not gonna strike some conversation here, but like I have these, right? Yeah, anyways, right? But like, how many do I really need? Yeah, they are slower. I mean, but water is a water, right? You know. But yeah, if you have better options, right? But I mean, like something like this, right? Like I get you can barter with this, right? But how many, how many do you really need, right? Like this one's not totally full, but you know, stuff like that. I mean, I've gone to grad sales where I've seen stuff like this, right? Stuff. Hey, it's Shawnee. What's up, Shawnee? The YouTube veterans in the house with me. I appreciate you dropping by my crib. I gotta use a bunch of CR words, right? But yeah, I mean, like, realizing, like, you know, where am I going with this? I feel like I just derailed myself on that one. But yeah, I guess it was worth it because I saw. No, you can't see it on the screen. Let me highlight that. Shiny. Right? But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just going through a bag that I have right now, right? You know, so like, I need moisture, right? You know, it's too hot. They get burnt or whatever, right? If it's too wet, right? Their feet get wet. They get that dampening off or whatever, right? Too much moisture, right? Like, so think about in terms of preparedness, that balance, right? Of the resources, yes, they're important, but so are the skills and knowledge and the experience behind it, and people and the community behind it, right? Like, if you think about like that, when it's in balance, things tend to work out well, usually, right? Like today, like, kind of yesterday, I saw sun for most of the day. It was like 86. I think it was 87 or whatever, right? Fahrenheit, 30, 31 Celsius, right? This morning, or late last night, or early this morning, I saw rain, right? Now it's cloudy today, right? A little bit cooler, right? Because I've been talking to some other people, right? Like, I don't mind if it's really hot or really raining, but it's nice when there's a break in there, right? And not like, hey, here's a week of rain, here's a week of heat, of like extreme heat, right? It's kind of more difficult to adapt to that, right? Because it's very constant, right? You constantly have to adapt to it, right? So like in the heat, you're using fans. Obviously, you got AC if the grid's up and all that stuff. You got fans, battery power fans, solar fans, whatever, right? You're drinking water more, right? And then on the opposite side, if it's raining the whole time, right? Your solar lights, your solar panels don't gather as much power, right? Because it's more cloudy out, right? And you get that heavy influx of water, right? So yeah, maybe you're gathering rainwater, right? But if it's raining a week straight, I mean, unless your cistern or your capacity is like huge, I'm not talking huge amounts, right? Not just a couple of 55-gallon barrels, right? Because I've seen some of those 55-gallon barrels fill up like so quick at times, relatively speaking, right? Not just because of like hard downpour rain, but because it's raining the whole day. Let's say 12 hours, whatever, right? And it's very consistent, and eventually that capacity, you reach your upper capacity, your maximum capacity, right? And you can't store anymore because you don't have a way to store it, right? Even a pond eventually will fill up. Probably takes longer compared to a cistern or a 55-gallon, right? But eventually it will fill up, right? Providing there's enough precipitation and time for it, right? Hey, you're happy that it rained, Shawnee? Nice. All right, Shawnee. Cool. But yeah, it's just something I've been keeping in mind. It's just like I said, I've seen a lot of rain in the last 6 weeks, right? So I actually had to like remember, I'm like, I gotta use it, right? It's just like with gear, right? Or the resources, right? Yes, you store it for quote unquote a rainy day, but maybe not in this case because I'm talking about rainwater, but you know what I mean? That saying, right? But you still gotta try to use it too, right? So it actually becomes useful, right? Because gear that's sitting around, even if it is for a rainy day, right? At that state, like, it's not in a useful state. It has potential to be useful, right? Rainwater or whatever, right? If I gathered like 55 gallons and it's like hot the next 3 days, 35 Celsius, 95 Fahrenheit, yeah, that's something useful, right? But if it's cloudy, kind of cooler out, maybe in the 70s, 21 Celsius, it's not that hot out, I'm not using the water as fast, right? So, like, I'm trying to always balance how to gather the resource, but to also release, utilize the resource and not just collect it too, right? I mean, even plants, even seeds too, right, to a certain degree. All right, I appreciate you dropping by, CB. Later, okay. Oh, it's always nice to see you. It's always nice to see you drop by and all that stuff, right? But yeah, I mean, I got stuff, right? Like, don't get me wrong, right? You know, some nitrate gloves, and stuff like that, and you know, there's no brand. Well, you don't see branding, but I just happen to have this too. I just happen to have tissues. Yeah. Someone gave me this, right? And just like, just in case things get rough, right? But it's still a valuable resource, right? Even though it might cost minimal amounts or peanuts, but it's still useful, right? But I realized, like, maybe I should put that into somewhere else where I can actually use it, right? Because also, if I'm at home, I could use something else, right? But on the road, it would be nice to have, right? For those rare occasions where I would like to use one, or require one, or perhaps help someone else with it, right? Because it could happen. It could happen. Right? So, that's why I've been keeping it. I mean, not keeping it, but I've been putting it into this other bag that I have on the side right now. And some other little things that I have in here, right? Because I got some stuff laying around. Right? Some cordage, right? And stuff like that. This is from another bag that I have, right? Yes, you could see some of it I have used, right? You could see the different in color, right? Just, right? But I realized I'm like, like I said, having this stuff is nice, right? But it's also really, really nice to use it too, right? I don't know, like, I really do, like, especially if you have more than one, right? Being able to use it, right? It's just like that battery bank, right? A battery bank is just a paperweight until you start using it, right? Until you start charging something with it. Batteries, obviously. Your phone, your torches or flashlights, right? And stuff like that. It's quite useful. And, as a PSA, don't forget to charge your phone. Scott. Oh, sorry. Sorry, that slipped out. That slipped right out. My bad. But, like, use it, right? I mean, like, so, like, let's just say you spent $20 on a battery bank and never use it. Well, you're not getting your $20 worth of resource or convenience or time or potential, right? If you don't use it, right? That's why I'm always trying to use them, right? And you realize, even if you spend $1 or $2 to buy a battery bank, a used one like I did, right? I've used it several times. I've actually used it on the road too. I've used it for other things, like maybe even run a pen or whatever off of it, right? Top something else like on my phone or device or whatever, right? I'm just like, it makes me like realize it's just like, if it stopped working today, I lost it, something happened to it, I couldn't recover it, couldn't use it anymore. At least I would know that, hey, at least I got some value out of it, right? I got bang for the buck out of it for sure, right? Because I've used it, and there were several times where I've used it where it's been very useful, let's say on the road or whatever, right? And let's just say I'm recording. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. I knew someone would always call. What's up, Dave? I see you in there, man. DK in the house with me. Have a sip of coffee. But like I said, like, I realized that, you know, it would be much more beneficial if I tried to use some of it. Right? So, like, I'm trying to, like, because, you know, maybe, like I said, maybe I'll do a full video on this more, right? But I'm just kind of speaking my mind about it right now. Because I haven't had a chance to speak my mind about it so much. And, well, you guys who've seen my community board posts noticed something, right? And like I said, it redirected a lot of my time away, right? Like, obviously there was still channel content, right? Because right now, I still have like 19 videos scheduled right now. Like, I got scheduled videos for the rest, like, the rest of July, the rest of August, the rest of September. I think for October too, right? At the moment, I actually have a video for November right now. It's scheduled, right? You know, and stuff like that. And now I'm remembering what video I have scheduled for this week, which is the 24th on Friday. So you wanna keep your eyes peeled for that. It may be something you're interested in. Maybe something you wanna, you know, fly by, you know, and say hi on and see for yourself. It may interest you. I've shown it, but I've shown it before, but I'm gonna show it again for this year though. So it's something to keep in mind because they're important too. So, oh yeah, I gotta remember what I'm doing here. So yeah, maybe I will share something outside here. I just gotta quote unquote put stuff away again because I really gotta remember to put stuff away. So how's everything over there with you, Dave? You doing okay over there, my friend? I appreciate everyone dropping by the way, right? Like I said, I haven't been live for quite a while, actually. I think this is the first live I've done all month. We're in the quote-unquote 4th week of the month, right? Because it's a 5-week month this time, right? Because I get to see, that's why I have at least 5 videos scheduled. I have had 5 scheduled videos for this month because there's 5 Fridays this month, right? And stuff like that. Oh, a sunflower? Are you saying for yourself? Or are you asking me? Because there's no question mark. You just wrote a sunflower. So I'm assuming it's on your side. Your side over there, out east, right? That's cool, that's cool. Maybe I'll share an update on the sunflower one of these days again. Maybe I'll make a grand appearance one of these days too while I'm at it. Yeah, see, I got some stuff laying around here. You know, that I've been trying to reorganize amongst some other things. Like this right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's on its last legs, let's just say. It's definitely on its last legs. There's barely any fluid left, right? Still strikes, yeah, still strikes. Still can get a spark, still can get a flame out of it, right? You know? Well, I'll do a rain dance for you guys, or something along the lines of that. Like, I saw rain last night. Well, this morning, right? There's still a small puddle outside, but some grass and areas are still wet, but basically it's drying out now and it's just kind of cloudy. And I guess it's more overcast now because it's kind of uniformly gray. There's no, I don't see any. It's not partly cloudy, it's no sunny breaks, right? It may change later in the day, but for now, it is cloudy and overcast out. Perhaps later I'll see something, but until then, I have to wait. Yeah, hopefully you get some rain soon, Dave. That'd be nice. Like, like I've seen so much rain in the last little bit that it's been nice to see some of the heat come back, some of the sunshine to come back. Like I said earlier, that balance of sunshine, heat with that coolness and rain, right? Because the plants tend to do better too, right? They tend to do better. They tend to do better, right? You know, because I realized that, especially this year again, right? You know, with what, not with the harvest, because it's not done yet, but what am I seeing, right? The plants still grew with less sunshine, but I realized that they're not as big as they could get. Like, I started the garden season, like, literally in the beginning of May, right? Because if you haven't seen the Lily video, well, go check that out, right? But, you know, I saw the wet, the quote unquote frozen white rain on the last week of April, right? So, and for me here, May was virtually almost bone dry. Like, actually, it's funny. The hottest day that I've seen this 2026 season, right? This quote unquote summer season, right? Is literally yesterday. Because that's how 30 Celsius, right? And back in May. June, never, I don't even think I barely even saw an 80 Fahrenheit, 827 Celsius day, right? And you're right, why, Sierra? Because, like I said, I saw a lot of precipitation in June. Quite a bit, right? Like, it almost felt like every other day was raining, right? At times, right? You know? Puddles and stuff like that, right? Like, there was plenty of rainwater, plenty of precipitation, plenty of moisture in the ground, right? But we were kind of lacking on the sunny side of things, right? Perhaps it was meant to make up for, you know, May or whatever, right? Because May was so dry here, and June was so wet here. But fortunately enough, this month, currently, we're back in this balance. What I've said, balance, right? Where, yes, there is some rain, but there is some sunshine to break that up, right? So, like, if you think about it, to give enough time for, like, people to not have to water stuff or to gather rainwater, right? But some sunshine in there for, like, the solar lights, the solar panels out there. Whatever on the roof, solar lights, floodlights, whatever, right? Stuff like that, right? And for the plants to use for photosynthesis, right? You know, so they can actually grow, right? And stuff like that. So right now, yeah, it feels like things are doing pretty well, right? So, because right now, some people's plants are like not doing so great, or they're not even getting germination, right? And it kind of sucks, right, for them, you know. Because I've been mentioning about the water, and just like people are like, "Hey, pass some of that water down here, CR down south, or whatever." I'm like, I wish I could, or at least, you know, hypothetically speaking, I wish I could, right? You know. Yeah, it's dry out there, Hugo. Yeah. See, yeah, so you wouldn't mind some, you know, a summertime thunder shower, right? You know, maybe something that can soak into the ground, right? Not just some quick downpour, right? Yes, you would get precipitation, and yes, it would soak in a little bit, but it's not to be as nice in comparison to nice, steady rain, light rain, maybe moderate, but it lingers for like a couple hours and not just a quick downpour that's like 15 minutes, right? Because obviously, if the water's running off, right, it's not soaking into the ground. If it's not soaking into the ground, it's not really helping the plants as much, right? Or refilling some aquifer that's underneath you or whatever, right? Some local aquifer in your area or whatever. Or replenishing like a lake, right? Or a river, right? And stuff like that. You know? Because that stuff's important, right? Because or else, like, you don't get stuff growing, right? Like, nowhere to lie. Like last month, I had so much rain, right? I was talking, I was kind of BSing with people around here and just kind of saying, like, and I quote what I said, right? I've never seen it so green around here for June at that time, right? And a lot of people said the exact same thing, right? They agreed with me. It's like, yeah, because we got the precipitation this time around, right? Like every last place was green. Like even places that usually wouldn't be so green in the summer, just because lack of precipitation or whatever. You know, they weren't even green. Even places that usually don't even get grass, it's just like it was green. It had grass, right, and stuff like that. All right. So that's the polar opposite of what some people are experiencing out east right now. It's probably dry, right? Brown grass or whatever, right? And stuff like the leaves that are kind of shriveling or whatever, right? I mean, it's that trade-off, right? I mean, even with all this precipitation, there is another benefit, right? There's another con or thing to keep in mind is with all that precipitation, unfortunately, mosquitoes season can be high, right? With all the precipitation, right? Because at least when it's drier out, it's maybe not so bad, but and stuff like that. But then again, if it's really hot and humid out, and if there's still mosquitoes, that can really bug you. All right, because it's hot, humid, and there's bugs that are bugging you, right? While you're trying to do some weeding or in your garden, cutting the grass, or trying to harvest something, or trying to prune your tomato plants or whatever, right? And just like, and you're trying to pick out a good time, right? Like even for me lately, I'm like, oh, it's windy out. Now's a good time to garden, right? It's calm out. Like I look outside right now. It's like the top of the trees are barely moving. They're moving slightly, right? But I'm like, on some of the windy days, I was just like, yes, I'm going outside to go garden. It's like, why? It's really windy out. It's like, yeah, but there's no mosquitoes because it's really windy out, right? And stuff like that. Because as soon as the wind dies down and it's calm out, right? The mosquitoes there's no air resistance. There's no wind resistance for them, right? So they can just freely fly around, right? At least when there's some wind, a strong breeze, right? It kind of tames them down, right? Because they gotta physically fly against it. It's just like birds too, right? The birds, they have to use that energy. Even mosquitoes have to use that energy to kind of do that stuff. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec, everyone. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Alright, sorry about that. Yes, I'm back. I had a delivery, so obviously I gotta bring it in something, right? And all that's good stuff. But yeah, like I said, the bugs and the birds can't fly against that, especially mosquitoes, right? Because I know when it's really windy out, right? Stuff like that, it tends to tame them, or at least add some resistance to them in terms of flying around, right? Because once it's calm out, it's just like with a degree of precipitation on the ground or whatever. I mean, especially if it's humid, it's just like it's just it bites. It just bites. Let's just face it, it bites, right? We all know that, right? Like I've said with the heat and the cold, but this probably applies to bugs too to a certain degree, right? Or insect bites, right? We have a degree of tolerance for it, right? Some people's tolerance is quite high, and then there's other people that are like, they're just the bugs are just gravitated to them, right? Yeah, we probably know some people, right? I know some people that are like that too, right? You know, maybe you get it from your parents or whatever, right? Or your friend, right? Like you go out with them, they're covered with bug bites or whatever from mosquitoes or whatever, and they're barely even touching you, right? You know, but then again, you could be not getting all these bug bites, but you're sweating hard and really overheating in heat while your other friend is, yeah, they got the bugs biting them, but they're nice and cool. So, you know, tolerance, right, to it. We all have our tolerances, but we also have our upper limits to it, right? Where it's just kind of like, you need to do something about it, whatever it is, right? Regardless if it's like using, I got resort to using bug spray, coil, whatever, covering up, putting on a hoodie or whatever, right? And stuff like that. Like, I remember earlier this month too, right? It's just like, at times where people are just, they were putting up with the heat by wearing a hoodie because they'll put up because they didn't want to get bitten by mosquitoes or whatever, but yet they'll put up with the sweating. And like, sometimes I'm like that too, right? I'm just like, I can always have a shower or whatever afterwards, for example, right? Cool back off, you know, because I'm wearing extra clothing because of the bugs, right? But sometimes those bug bites, mosquito bites and such, they can linger on you for a lot longer, right? Where you're still itching like an hour later, right? You know? Some people don't have that tolerance, right? You know? Even if you use, you make an axe, use heat, baking soda, toothpaste, after blah, 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 all this other stuff that can help, right? Soothe it so you're not itching, right? Because sometimes it's just, you're still itching like an hour later, right? I mean, like, at that rate, I might as well just wear something and just take a cool shower or a sponge bath or whatever, right? After, and at least I can cool off, right? You know what I mean? Because sometimes those bug bites just, like, linger for a while, right? You know? Especially if it's on certain parts of your body. It's just like your elbow joint, right? And stuff like that. Or the back of your hand on the knuckle parts, right? It's annoying, right? You know? Sometimes you can put up with the bug bites on your forearm or whatever, but as soon as it hits a joint or a forearm or your elbow or whatever, it's just like because I see it, right? When I see people, right, I'm just like, I see them itching they're slapping their elbow or whatever, itching, and it's just like, yeah, that's because they've probably been there and it's bugging them, right, and stuff like that. Let's see here. I know Sandy wrote some stuff. Well, that's good to hear, Sandy. You like to line dry? Yeah. Nice. Nice, Sandy. Nice. Enjoy your walk. Actually, enjoy the food, the farmer's market, right? Yeah, farmer's market, yeah. That'd be nice. Yeah, I've been so busy lately that I haven't had a chance to do my kind of more nature walks, let's just say, or my longer range walks, or my longer duration type walks, let's just say, right? Like, I feel like I haven't, like, don't get me wrong, I'll walk for maybe, let's say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever, right? Spin around or whatever, but it hasn't been, like, nothing major, let's just say, right? Because I've been simply too busy doing some other things. And also I'm streaming at the moment, right? Like, I haven't done a major walk since I went out with a get home bag to walk home, right? I appreciate everyone that drunk mile on that video, right? You know? Because that was legit me doing it, right? 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers, right? And probably a little bit more than that, right? 3.5 hour walk. With weight too, right? Like a legit type of get home bag setup, right? It could vary, but like stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, because I kind of want to do something like that again, but I have to find the time for it, right? And the energy level to actually do it, right? You know? The reason I did it the last time is because I had the opportunity and I didn't have to rush home. Right. And it wasn't even that hot out. Like, during that time, it was so nice. Like, it was like the perfect time to try it out, right? It wasn't terribly cold. It wasn't terribly or extremely hot, right? It was kind of in that sweet spot because I did it during the springtime, technically. Well, technically, it was spring, right? So, like, it was just in that balance of, right? And stuff like that. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I had to drink water and with some electrolytes, but, you know, it wasn't cold out and I didn't have to sweat it out. If it was like in 80s, 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius plus range, right? It was like 50, 10 Celsius, right? It was like the perfect time to try it out. In terms of like testing my endurance on it and then also like just doing it, right? Because obviously I have done something similar in the winter before for the same distance, for the same distance, right? But I had less weight on me because I had a more streamlined, miniaturized, not as bulky or as big of a get home bag with me at that time, right? But it was colder, considerably colder, right? It was like 0 Fahrenheit, minus 17 Celsius, and then some, right? That was different too, right? You know, it's not like I haven't had to do this when in the extreme heat part of it. So let's say over 80 Fahrenheit, over 27, right? In bright sun, right? I haven't done that yet. You know, I'm not saying I haven't done walks on it, but done walks like that. But in terms of enduring the distance and the time for it, right? Right. Because I imagine if I did that, I would have to bring a lot more water, a couple safety nets. I might actually have to bring some other things to kind of help it along, right? And stuff like that. That's something I want to do. Hopefully, hopefully, eventually or whatever, right? It'd be nice. It'd be nice too, but right now, I mean, I just simply have too much to do here. Then I can't just, you know, take a vacation. Let's just say, take a vacation. I check something. Like I said, I have responsibilities. Let's just say things that have higher priority, right? Because the only reason I even attempted that the last time is because I had the opportunity, and basically it was only going to take an extra couple hours in comparison to other forms of transportation or convenience, right? You know, and besides, it got me a chance to make some content and actually try it out. So there were some other benefits, and there was actually even more benefits that I didn't even see until like I started to get back closer to home, right? Which I won't go into details, but there were some other benefits too, right? And just like and stuff like that. And not only that, the experience too, right? Like I feel like this whole stream has been like talking about like these type of things, right? Like I'm not even like I've shown a few actual things, but a lot of the stream has been like anecdotes, stories, right? Things in the past, right? Some or things happening right now, right? And stuff like that. That's why I've been you know, sharing some of this, right? Because like I'm like I could, you know, I don't know. I'm like I could do a standard long form content video, right? I'm like, maybe I'll just talk about it in the stream to a certain degree. You know, instead of putting like a paragraph or 5 or 6 in the community post, why don't I just share some of it through voice, right? As much as possible. So, as I speak of voice, I'm gonna catch some other things. You know, some other things I have around here. Man, I didn't realize. Wow, I didn't realize I left this in here too. Dang. I'm just going through this bag that I have here. I've shown this bag before. Not the contents necessarily, but I've shown this bag before. Right? I've actually had it for a while. Actually, now that I think of it, I think it's coming up to 10 years now. I'm actually coming up to 10 years on this. Yeah, because I got this slightly a couple years after I started the first video on the channel, right? So, you know, I've shown this has made an appearance on our live streams. I know it. I know it has, right? Yeah, you could see some water, stuff like that. You know, I got a cord lock on the bottom, some cordage, whatever, right? Just something I modified very easily, right? This was $2, $2 Canadian, 2 CAD, right? And I made it go for almost 10 years. That's pretty good. That's pretty good in terms of usage versus what I paid for it, right? Like, it's come in handy very, very, very much. And this is why I'm taking the time right now to kind of unpack it out. Because apparently I've put in a lot more things than I realized. Yep. A lot more things than I realized. Jeez. So, that's why I'm kind of going through it anyways. There's some things I want to make sure I always have with me in here, right? You know, I got my first aid kit in here, right? And this is actually the same first aid kit that I actually had in that other video that I did the walking for 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles, 3.5 hours, right? Because I just basically just transferred over there, right? I don't have a separate first aid kit for that bag or this one. I have one for both, right? Because I'm usually not carrying both at the same time, right? So hence I just transfer it over. It just makes it easier for me, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I got some more dedicated stuff in that bag, but kind of boost it up, right? If I necessary, right? But this kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not really a sling bag, but it's all along the lines of that in terms of capacity or volume, right? You know, like, I can get a water bottle in here, and I can get a first aid kit in here. I probably could even fit an umbrella, right? Some form of shelter, right? Among some other things, and a little bit of food, right? But it's not like I'm gonna be able to fit, like, a sleeping bag in there, or at least a full-size one. Maybe one of those emergency blankets, sleeping bag, blah, blah, but that's about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I actually do have one in here, right? I'm just pulling it out right now, but hold on a sec. It's kind of, well, you're gonna see something. You know? Yeah. Yeah, see, I got them. Alright, see? You can see me. Woo! See? Model space blanket, right? This is one of the louder ones, thinner ones, right? I got some other ones that I can dip into. They're a little bit more thick. Right? More durable. Right? Not as loud, right? But for this is what I have in here, right? As in, like, this is, like, dedicated to this, right now. Like, if I really want to, I can dip into, like, one of the other ones I have, right? I've shown you. Oh, not this, but one of the other ones I've shown before, right? The ones that are, like, kind of thicker, less noisy, and all that stuff. And apparently, I got this stuck. You know, stuff like that. And apparently I need to find that one too. Because I see the ponchos and their stuff. I better take a look. And reminds me, maybe I should actually not just dig that out, but actually make sure I know I have it. Because apparently I thought I had it in that spot. Where's it in that spot? No, it's not in that spot. But anyways, I'll find it later. I see Scott is paying attention here. I do pay attention. All right. But yeah, like I said, I have like a poncho in here. I even have a thinner trash bag and stuff like that, right? This is kind of down and dirty type of shelter. Wow. You know, so just something very basic. Nothing too extreme or whatever. But something I can have. Something if I use it, if I deem it, I have to use it, it's not gonna break the bank, and if I have to give it to someone, I don't feel so bad, right? Giving up that gear, especially if it really helps them out, especially if someone I really know, or whatever, that could really use, let's just say some cover at the moment, right? You know, maybe I'm far away from home or whatever, or walking or whatever. Like, it could be one of those 3-hour walks I do, right? Hypothetically speaking, and, you know, it would be nice to have something like that. So, you know, so it's a little bit more, well, so I'm more covered, really. Let's look at some of this other stuff I have here. Some of this other stuff, I think I'm actually gonna change this out here, just slowly. Hold on a sec. Alright, sorry, I just had to check on something. I had to go to my quote-unquote desktop or homepage to check on something. I had to make sure my device is charging. So this is why I'm taking a little bit of time right now. To kind of sort some other things out here. Just because, not only because I can, because it would probably be a good idea if I do this right now. Why not? So. Oops. Oh, hold on. Come on. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I have to make sure my device is charging. Okay. But basically, I'm just making a really easy slip knot right now. That's all I'm doing. Because I have to secure something together here. I have this little bit of a small quote-unquote bandana. And I'm just kind of tying some cordage around it. Not for the cordage necessarily, but to kind of keep it more contained. Compress it down a little bit more so it takes up less room within the system. Put it this side here. This bag basically has 2 pockets. A main compartment and a side pocket. That's it, right? You know, maybe could I add some more in? I don't know, maybe, but in the meantime, I'll work with what I got, right? So, just little things that I have that I'm like, let's see here. Spare flashlight. Or torch, however you want to call it. Combustion type tools in here for now. Why did I check these? Yeah. These are both. It can be lit, or at least I get an open flame out. I know these are not full. Yeah. Maybe the 0. I can't even see the fluid level in this one. Huh. Maybe I can barely see the fluid level in this one. It does generate a flame when I strike it, but Another one is probably like, quarter, 25% capacity. All right. So what I'm going to do is put the 25% capacity in the bag. And don't worry, I have another one and some other things, right? I have contingencies on it, right? But this lower one that probably only has a few, maybe a minute or two of flame time, couple tens of sparks, strikes left on it. What I'm going to do with this one is actually put it into a different kit that I will use at home. Because at home, let's just say if I have to light candles with it or whatever, right? I'm going to be in an indoor environment or away from wind, right? I don't want to use this outside. I'm not saying I couldn't or whatever for a barbecue or whatever, but like, because it has limited amounts, and it's just like I can't even see the fluid level in it. It's probably running on fumes, right? So I'm just like, you know what? I'll put it into this air kit that I have right now. I kind of cycle that out. Put it into one of my air systems that I have. Speak of systems, I think I might dig that one out and take a look at it while I'm at it too. Alright. Speaking of which, I probably should check on some of this stuff. Oh, this one's half. Just one of those smaller lighters, mini bic. It's about half full. Got a case with it. I'll put it somewhere else. I don't desperately need it in this bag. Like I said, I got should be sufficient with that, right? Especially with some skill and knowing that if I have to use it for obvious reasons, right, to remember surface area, right, and stuff like that, and it's always gonna be, like I said, the first aid kit I have with this is always gonna be with this bag if I'm using said bag, and the combustion tools are standard stock for the bag, right? So I should have access to like hand sanitizer, let's just say, right? If absolutely necessary. So put that to the side. Nope, this one won't wait. I'll use it for someone else. I have some trail marking tape, right? I've decided to add this into this, at least for now. It doesn't take up that much room. Stuff. Like, I could still fit, like, a water bottle in here, probably, and, like, an umbrella, right? So that's what I'm gonna do with this. And some other things I have. Adding this whistle that I have. I'll actually show you guys. Hold on. It's because I'm trying to charge up my device here. So I've shown this before in the resource hall videos, right? Even says Canada in here, although it's made in England, right? Hold on a sec. I was gonna blow it, but not with the mic on. I didn't want to blow it into it, but yeah, it does work. But so I'm gonna add that back in. I've had it in this bag for a little bit now. It's becoming more like stock items that I keep in this kind of bag here. I might take this other thing out though. Yeah, I might take this one out. I don't think I need that one in there. Let's see some other things in here. Some tissues, right? Just case, right? Some other things, right? Okay, so that is actually useful. It doesn't take up that much room yet. When I would like to use one, it would be nice to have one, right? That's why I have it in there. Some other little things that I wanna kind of keep with this. Yeah, push button light. Nothing spectacular, right? It just takes one of those button cell type batteries, right? generally speaking, these are disposable, right? However, if you do have that battery, you can replace it on this one because it's got screws like Phillips head screws, very very small, right? But you would need like a precision screwdriver, like a screwdriver you use to like fix glasses or to tighten up a screw on glasses, right? I have, obviously I wear glasses, right? So, but yeah, I'll keep it in this bag. Usually like, especially like during at night, right? Or if I'm planning to go out after dark or whatever, or let's say if I'm going camping or whatever, right? I usually bring like, you know, the stream light that I usually use now, right? Like it's in my pocket, isn't it? No, it's not in my pocket. I wasn't trying to do a pocket dump here, but I was just like, wait, I think I put it on. I must have put it in our room, but like, I usually bring that, but this just happens now. This bag will have a dedicated light. At least, is it gonna help me navigate through like a blackout? No, but at least it'll help me navigate towards getting another flashlight or torch or headlamp because I can actually see the hallway, right? At least something, or at least, you know what I mean? At least something to start with, right? Because it may be one of those times where I got the bag, but I'm away from our stuff, and I need to navigate towards that, right? It would be nice to have something, right? And not stub my toe, or step on something, or run into something, or, oh, look, don't, once where you're moving your arms, you don't want to knock the glass off the table and make a sound, and now you have glass on the ground in the dark, and because that would be like, WTF, you'll be like, ugh, great, right? Where it feels like you're out of the frying pan into the fire metaphor, right there, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with us. There's some TP here. Actually, I haven't actually used it from this kit yet, but let's just say when I do use it, eventually, it'll be well worth the time and the effort of having it there. Alright? That I know, because I've had to. I've had to before, once. I've actually had to. I've actually had to in the winter before. I've actually had to do that. No choice. Right? Because, things weren't available and I couldn't go anywhere else and I couldn't make it back home yet. In terms of timing, so let's just say, yeah, it's very useful. I was extremely glad I had it. Because it saved me a lot of hassle later. Let's just say, it saved me a lot of hassle and embarrassment later. Right? Just having a simple little bit of tissue and a bag with me that I can put stuff into. Just in case that CR word appears. So I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. So let's see what else here. Alright, let's put that aside. No, we gloves in. Oh, we need the gloves in here. Gloves and other things. I'll leave the 2 shoes in here for now. Everything else I'll have to put out to the side here. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going through some of this right now. Just kind of taking a look amongst some other things here. Do I have? Actually, now that I think about it, maybe a reason for us. Oh, maybe. I have to sort out a lot more things here. Like I said, I've been moving things around lately, so I haven't had a chance to organize it as much as I would like, right? Other little things that were already organized beforehand, right? They were in a quote unquote kit or system or bag. Usually, usually I don't have to, unless I'm checking the inventory on said preparedness item. I usually don't need to, right? Because I know when I pack said backpack or bag or suitcase, whatever it is, right? I do it in a certain way, right? I do it in a certain way all the time, right? I do it by accessibility and deployment and by weight, right? So usually the things I require right away or wouldn't like to have right away are closer to the top. Lighter things are closer to the top. Stuff like that, right? Usually the food and the overnight shelter components are down lower, right? Because usually if I'm doing that, I usually am quote unquote sheltering a place or camping, right? So hence now I probably am staying in one location for a little bit of time, even if it is just for overnight or whatever. So yes, let's see, what time is it? Oh my gosh, it's coming up to that 2 hour mark. I'll probably at least go to the 2 hour mark. I know that. Yeah, I will at least go to the 2 hour mark. At least that's only 20 minutes. 18 minutes away. 18 minutes away. I almost forgot to put the cordage back in. I was just like, oh yes, that would be nice. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should inspect this right now. Double check. Because I also realized too. Don't. Hey. There's something else I have to check too while I'm at it. Is because I've been rearranging stuff, quote unquote downscaling or downsizing a bit, right? Makes me wonder, it's just like, maybe I can substitute some of the items in, right? For something that I already have, yet it is higher quality and or more useful or more durable or, it's a longer piece of cordage, right? And stuff like that. Like, even this cordage I have right now in my hands that it just showed earlier, I'm just like, kind of check it out, inspect it, right? Have I used this? Yes. I'm trying to remember when the last time I used it, but I know I've used this before. It's actually not clean, right? Just kind of bringing it back together, right? But yeah, it is Scott. Yeah. I mean, that's how I do it, right? Maybe you do it something differently, slightly differently, or you do follow someone else's recommendations. But at the end of the day, regardless how you pack, okay, I think accessibility, balance, relatively speaking, of the load, right? Being able to carry it, said pack, whatever it is. Doesn't matter if it's 5 pounds, 10, 15, whatever, right? Even on the higher side, if you want to go like, 20, 30, or 40 pounds, right? You gotta pack it in the way that you would use it and be able to deploy said items, whatever it is, within that bag as quickly as possible. Less hassle, right? So, you're not, oh, I gotta pull out my XYZ item because my first aid kit's in the middle of the bag. I gotta pull this out first, right? Versus, oh, it's on the side. Oh, I just have to open up this one zipper compartment. It's sitting right on top, right? Or it's sitting in the brain of, let's say, hiking pack or whatever, right? The top, right? Or it's a easy, quick release, right? Something like that. So that's why I'm just kind of taking a look here. Because I know I don't actually particularly require this type of cordage. I think that I showed it with. I think I just used it just because that's why I had at the moment, but since I'm updating this, I might as well take a look here. Wait, hold on a sec. I have to go get it. literally no way. Hold on, because I have to push things to the side here. I literally, and I say literally, see, lots of cordage. Lots of cordage, right? Some of that I've rated, and some of the other stuff. Miscellaneous type of cordage, right? That I have. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? Maybe now's a good time to kind of dedicate some of this. As much as possible. At least try to, right? And apparently I gotta unspool this because the edge came out. Oh, nice. I gotta re-spool this. I think this is sections from paracord, the inner strands, right? And it's daisy chain to get it right, so it's not as strong technically as if it was a whole piece, right? But I do still need to re-spool it a little because it kind of came out a little here. So I'm just kind of taking a look to see what I have in here. Right, and be like, let's take a look here. I would have something like, Scott, I would have something like that for if I'm planning to camp out, right? This bag, this blue bag, it's kind of like, you know, I could bring it out camping, but that's also in addition to an actual backpack, right? This bag is more like slimline, not too far away, kind of get home bag, right? Just so I can just like bring some water with me without actually have to carrying it in my hands, right? Carry that umbrella, poncho, right? Maybe some extra gloves if required, right? A first aid kit too, right? That's why I'm kind of going through this right now, real quick here. Because apparently I should actually take a look here. And don't even get me wrong, I got a spool of paracord in this area, right? I got a spool right in front of me. And I have, right? And stuff like that. And some other cordage that I've shown before. Apparently I need to tie this back together because it's a free strand type of cordage that I found. But what I'm looking for is actually something else here. Yes, I think I'm gonna actually use this. You got the tool with all the oh yeah. Well, unfortunately, I had to get rid of some of the bracelets I had, right? It's just the way it is. Some of the buckles and stuff like that. I still have some of it, but not all of it like I used to, right? But I do have this cordage, right? So, and some of it, like I said, I've used or cut or whatever. I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna use it for something else, right? Use it for another reason. Use it for another reason right here. Okay there. I just like how she just like brought that somebody. Somebody. I didn't force you to do anything, Huga. I was just suggesting. Right? I was just suggesting. It was just a suggesting. Something to consider with a CR in it. Oh, you crack me up. But yeah. I have some Lark's head knots and some Prusik knots around this one right now that I'm doing. From before when I used it, right? So, since I'm not using it for that reason anymore, I'm going to undo the Prusik and Lark's head knot. Right? And the real difference between those is just how many loops are around. Really? It's just a different name, right? You know, Oryx and Knot, basically they're both very similar, except for Oryx and Knot just has one loop around, right? A Prusik knot has multiple loops around for friction friction knot. Friction knot. So now that I have... Oh, wow. No, but the thing, Scott, is that you don't know if those contacts will be available. Yeah, generally speaking, they probably will be, right? But it would be nice to know that at least you have stuff on you with you at that moment, like food, water, and such, right? Poncho or whatever, right? Shoes, socks, or whatever, right? Without necessarily being like, you know, hey, hey, Joe, can I borrow some socks? Why, Scott? Because, yeah, I have to walk back and blah, blah, blah. Right? I'm just saying, right? Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just kind of taking a look at this kid here again. Well, not kid, but what I'm doing here. There's something else I have to take care of too, so. Jeez. Just some extra cordage I have. Something, like I said, I can dedicate it. I've dedicated it. It's dedicated to this bank, right? So it's, generally speaking, unless I change it up for something better or whatever, you know, staying within this, right? You know, it doesn't leave this bag, right? Unless I'm upgrading it or whatever, right? Or actually using it, right? So now would be a good time to do it. Now would be a good time to do it. So this is why I am actually doing it right now. So I'm gonna tie in a taut line hitch onto this. I should have brought my... It's not bad. Hey, just because you're here, and just because I have this in front of me, look. Oh, you know it. 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 I haven't seen you in a while. It's hot over there, isn't it? What is it? You saying 30 Celsius over there? I know it's like evening time there, almost nighttime there, but is it still hot out in Europe right now? It's still hot over there, isn't it? Because I know I've been hearing about it. I know it's hot over there. I just don't know how hot without checking. It sure is. Yeah. See. I had a stage prop just for you, Grace. Like, literally, you're just like, what? What's yours got like a stage prop for? Yeah, I got stage props for everyone that drops by. All right. I mean, if Scott's still here, I mean, I can bring out a battery bank for you, Scott. You know, I'll let you borrow some power. I'll let you borrow some of that. But yeah. So you're saying 30 Celsius? Or more? Remember, 30 Celsius is 86 Fahrenheit for you folks in the US, but right. I'll do the conversion for you guys. Right there. Yeah, you know it. Because it's actually sitting in front of me, that's why. It's sitting in front of me, that's why. Wow. 31 for you, CB? Dang. Like I said, I saw that temperature yesterday. I know I did. It was an official temperature. Right? Like, I actually saw it. Like, it was actually, like, not just forecast, but I actually physically saw it on the app, or like if I go to the actual website itself, right? So that's why I was just like, yeah. I've only seen like really maybe 2-3 days of heat of it's really warm out, kind of weather, right? Compared to everyone else, like out east here in Canada, in the U.S., out in Europe, you guys are all seeing like that 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius type of heat. Long stretches of it, right? Where some places, like, you'd be like I've seen this before, where the temperature here was hotter than like down south back in 2021, right? The last time I saw the heat in the summer in terms of actual heat, like really hot for the area, right? For the time of year, right? Back during the 2021 season, right? Back during that heat dome, right? Where I saw where I saw 95, 35 Celsius, 37, 98 Fahrenheit, right? Where officially now, I can actually say the hottest day that I've seen here where I am was almost on Canada Day. Because it is actually in the record now, right? Hottest day on Canada Day here, 2021, where I saw 37.98 Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius. Yeah. I remember that day. I think I was outside too for a little bit. Not like a long period of time, but I was outside, probably under shade. A cooling towel. Probably had lots and lots of water in my hands. Drinking. It's like, go. Chuk. Yeah, I'm holding in there. You staying cool over there, man? Hopefully everything's going well with your friends, your family over there too, man. Like, I know, hey, the heat, and like I said earlier, right? We all have our tolerances to bugs and the cold, and obviously the heat in it. However, that's a tolerance, right? If you don't take proper steps to reduce that impact, well, it's going to wear you down, right? It's going to cause you to not think clearly, start making mistakes, and and unfortunately, maybe even worse, right? And I don't want to hear that kind of story over the airs, right? And stuff like that, right? As that, well, that would just suck. I'm just saying, right? That would just suck. You saw 104 on your way home? 104 is 40 Celsius, by the way. So, because I believe 100 Fahrenheit is 38 Celsius. What, 120 is like 45, 46 Celsius? I don't know. Yeah? You've been traveling? Yeah. Enjoy the travels, man. Enjoy the travels, Enjoy the time out, too, right? Enjoy life, too, right? Be ready, but also, enjoy things, too, right? Unfortunately, I gotta be responsible, so it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to go out camping this year. Just far too busy. Can't justify the time. Not even the funds, but just the time that I would take for it, right? However, with that said, as things change around here for me, perhaps I will be able to at least make a long distance walk. Maybe show a more natural area around here again, like usual. Hopefully. That'd be nice. Yeah. Like I said, I've been busy. I've had to deal with a lot of things around here. My community board post kind of mentions it slightly, but, I'll mention a few other little things too, right? Because it's been kind of hectic for me for a little bit. Among some other things. You know, there is one thing I decided I still have, by the way. I'm gonna show you guys. Just because I'm on this platform, and technically I haven't shown this for like a long time. I forgot I had it on somewhere else, but see, I actually do have this still, by the way. See, a sticker I made into a magnet. Yes, I randomly have a YT sticker / magnet here. Okay. Oh, don't forget that part. I'm not talking about Tubi. That's a totally different thing. Tubi's totally different thing. I still have it. Yeah. Alright. And like I said earlier. See? My flashlight. Ooh. Right. I still have this, right? Reversible clips. I can clip it onto that if I want to. It's been quite useful for me, actually. Actually, I remember this. Was it last year? I think it was last year, right? I was helping. Oh, I had to help someone out. They wanted some help. It was kind of like 10 o'clock at night, right? It was already kind of getting dark, right? And I had to charge my phone. I had to charge my phone for a little bit, right? Because it wasn't. I had to top it back off, right? So I could have brought it with me and it would have been fine. But I'm like, oh, I need a light source, right? Because, you know, they were asking, a friend of mine was asking for help, right? And I'm like, yeah, I probably should bring it, right? I'm like, oh, thank goodness I brought it, right? Because what I needed a light source, right? And yes, I could have brought a phone or whatever, right? But like I said, I was charging my device, right? So this is why I have this too, right? As a dedicated light source, right? That's independent from the phone that I am using. Okay, Sky. Yeah, I hear you. I know. I see your comment. So this has been very useful for me. Like, no word of a lie. I actually used this on Halloween last year. Back last, what's that? Friday? Yeah, right. Because like, it was funny. I just kind of chilled with them, right? For Halloween, right? Nothing major or whatever, right? So I just like, and so they didn't have to just deal with kids the whole time. There was another adult with them, right? So at least can have an adult conversation with her. All right, it's a her, by the way. I'm just saying, but like, because the kids had to look at their candy or whatever, right? And you know, I just happened to have this with the diffuser that I have with it, right? It was very useful. It was very useful for that, right? I just happened to bring it. I'm like, yeah, just case, right? Just case, right? You know, just case, right? I just brought it with me, right? I just like, so of all the things, I'm like, that's been a very useful thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've used it for reasons or whatever, right? But I was just like, oh, look at that. It actually helped during Halloween, right? You know, because I didn't, you know, yeah, I did have my phone with me, right? Yeah, I could have turned on the flashlight portion of the phone, my mobile or smartphone, whatever. Right? Yeah, I could have did that, right? But that means I gotta give them my phone to let them hold on to and be responsible with, and that also means that I can't do stuff with my phone because they're holding it and not me. You see what I mean? So I had someone dedicated just for that lighting task directly, right? You know, and of course I got a rechargeable battery in it. Then I probably maybe have used like solar power to recharge, right? So it's not like, you know, it's not like I was using an alkaline or a lithium ion single use battery, right? So that wasn't so bad for me. I didn't mind it so much. In a sense, it was quite useful, anyways. And because I had the diffuser on, I didn't have that bright white light on it, right? It was just enough, right? Without being blinding in terms of looking at stuff, right? But it was bright enough to still see words You know what I mean? Like, during, because her kids were trick or treating, and I was just kind of there as an adult. It's alright, just for fun, right? I was just like, ah. And besides, I wanted to just see the decorations out there. And besides, they wanted to show me this super awesome area to trick or treat. I was just like, oh, okay, you know, places that I would only dream of when I was younger at that time when I still did that, right? I was just like, yeah, wow. I'm like, dang, these are big houses, big places, big houses, whatever, right? You know, just to see for myself, right? Because this is like, I kind of be like, oh, so this is how it is nowadays. So this is what they do nowadays around here. This is how it is. I see. Right? So, because like I said, I only brought something very minor with me. Actually, I think it was actually this big that I brought with me. And I think it actually was. I think it was actually this big on me. This specific one that I have, right? I think it was specifically this one that I have with me. See, I'm repacking it right now, right? Because it was very handy, and at least it allowed me to have some additional things with me if I required them at that time, right? But like I said, the flashlight was probably the most useful thing. All things I brought that night with me, right? It was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And, let's see here. I guess I might as well keep going here. I gotta check out the time here. Better not overdo it here. Yeah, I think I'll go. I don't know. I think I'll go to that 2.5 hour mark. Hopefully. I am expecting company, so if I drop out sooner, well, then you guys will know. But I'll keep going for a little bit. Why not? I got some time, not a lot of time, but some time. And hey, if I didn't do the stream, well, some of you I would have reconnected with once again, right? So, that's part of the Sierra community. Or my other communities that I'm involved, or were involved in. So, let's see here. Yeah, I might as well keep going. Alright. It's time to put little things away once again. Once again, it's time to put some things away again. So what? They don't get lost. I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, so they don't get lost. Let me see here. Yeah. Try to. Yeah. See, I think I'll reorganize that too. Some other little things I have around here. Apparently, I really need to check on some of this stuff too, because apparently I haven't done it for a little bit. I've been slacking on it a little here. It's become disorganized. Right? Disorganized. It's just like, where your loadout or layout is just so disorganized. Right? You know what I mean? Like, in the gaming community, that'd be like, it's like, you're, well, I don't play Minecraft, but it'd be like, the quote-unquote Dungeon and Dragon type of games, right? Actual video games, right? I'm not talking about D&D, but like actual, right? Where your inventory is so messed up, right? I need to reorganize this, the same way, but in the real world, right? Because like I've said, I used to run a gaming channel before, so, I'm familiar with the gaming terms and stuff like that. And the organization, too, of it, right? Of your loadout, layout, or whatever, right? Stuff like that. Because that's also important too, right? Right? That's also important too. You randomly remember that? I don't know. I just randomly made that up. I'm just gonna randomly make this up. Do 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 do. Cause I don't know what to say to you. Oh, oh, wow, that was fast, Sandy. I didn't realize you actually already went and came back. Yeah, I guess that would explain why I didn't hear from you, or or that you were away from keyboard AFK, right? Yeah, I did see her. She has dropped by one of my streams. It's been a while though. I did see Robert too, by the way. Well, text or comment, right? So, among some other things. So yeah, let's see here. I'm really gonna reorganize some of this anyways. And some other things I have here. You know what's funny? I'll show you guys this. I don't even think I've ever shown this here. This is old. I'll show you guys this right here. I just happen to have this. A friend of mine gave this to me, right? 32 Celsius. That's about 90 Fahrenheit. Speak of Fahrenheit. I just happen to have this, right? I know I'm not using this all the time to convert everything on camera or in the streams or in the side chat, right? Just some of it I just know, right? So you can see right about there. So 50 is about that 120, right? And what the hell? It doesn't even show the negative 40, which is the same. Right? See? 0, 30. Right. See? And 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit, blah, blah, right? And it's right there. And that second tick, that's 16 Celsius. Look where that tick is, right above the 60 Fahrenheit. Right? That tick right there, that third one, that's, you know, that's in between, right? That's about 26. And look, slightly to the right, 80 Fahrenheit. Because 27 Celsius equals 80 Fahrenheit. Boom. You can screenshot that next time you talk to other people with different units of measurement. You'd be like, how would you know that? I'm learned it from CR. He just randomly knows it. I just been applying it. It's actually, you know, I never really learned it. It's more like I just had to apply it because having my American followers, right, and vice versa, right? Well, sometimes I just had to just do it, right? And instead of looking it up, or maybe I did look it up, eventually the numbers just, I kept seeing the same numbers, right? Eventually in time, I just know there is an equation for it, right? But where I just know, relatively speaking, right? Relatively speaking. You know, maybe I'm off a couple of fractions worth, right? You know, 0.4 off or whatever. Estimated, right? Let me just put this away here again. Right. Yeah, you know it. You know it, man. You know it. Hold on 1 sec. I gotta put something away here. Yes, if I don't put it away, I won't do it. Actually. And it's better if I actually put things away while I'm actually bringing stuff up. So bad for doing videos or live streams and not putting things away because I'm bringing stuff out to show or for a video or for shorts, whatever. And well, remember, I gotta put that stuff back away, right? Whatever it is, right?
You know, even if it is my charging cable, right? I have to put it away or at least put it back in its quote unquote place that I store it or keep it, because or else things just get scattered and the next thing you know, where the hell's my wallet? Right? How many people have you seen say that? Right? Have you seen my purse? Have you seen my wallet? Right? Well, and it takes like 20 minutes and a bunch of hassle. It's just like, have you seen my wallet, CR? Have you seen my wallet? I'm like, no. You know, and then it's like, where's the last time you saw it? Well, the last time I saw it was here, and if I knew that, I would be there, right? You know, so that stuff, right? And usually it's because it's underneath something, in a jacket, in pants pockets, or whatever, right? Like, like for me, like, let's just say a wallet or whatever, right? As soon as I get back home, like home, right, I put it back in the spot that I keep my wallet. Or let's say cash, money, whatever, cards and stuff like that, right? If I'm on the road or whatever with it, right, I'll probably either keep it in inside pocket or with my bag, one or the other, depending what's going down, right, and where I am and all that stuff, how we feel around and all that stuff, right. That way, I kind of know, right. It's either in one of three spots, right. Instead of let's say you come back home, you have your wallet in your pants or whatever, and you go for a shower, right? I empty my pockets. I'm putting my wallet back where it is or was originally storing it, and then changing out, right? So I don't go for that hassle, right? Because it's just so annoying, right? It would be, and not only that, when you're trying to help someone with it, now you're gonna help someone take this time for it, right? So, I'm gonna find something, and it's gonna take like the 20 minutes to find it, right? You know, it, it's metaphorically a waste of time. Hence, so I try to avoid that now. A few, a few. Is it Kate taking a cat nap? Is the white cat? Is the white cat Casper taking a cat nap? Casper. I'm surprised, Sandy, you didn't put a CR in there. Oh wait, there is a CR in there. There is a CR in there. But yeah, I mean, that's why I keep it in a very specific spot, right? Very specific spot now. Because I actually have a friend that, like I said, that I've seen several times now. Hey, CR, have you seen my wallet? Hey, CR, have you seen my debit card? You know, that kind of thing, right? I'm like, and like, first time, right? But what, like, once bitten, twice shy. I'm like, dude, again, man? He's like, and they're like, oh no, I know, CR, I know, don't you tell me about it. But I mean, come on, dude. you know, you know, for the time we're taking to doing this, we could have did something else. I could have did something else. I could have made coffee or whatever right at that time, because. And just the hassle of it, right, too, right? It's just the hassle and the not knowing, right? Because obviously something like your wallet's important enough because it's got your ID in it, probably debit, cash cards, prepaid, store credit cards, gift cards. And stuff like that, or maybe even actual cash, right, or currency, right? So, like, yeah, it's important. I get it, right? I know exactly where mine is right now, all right? Yes. Yeah, I remember what time it is. Where it is. Yes. Just to point that example out here. All right, see? Look. I know exactly where it is. All right. Just like how I showed stage props, I'm starting to realize that, right? So that's why I'm doing it in a certain way now. Making sure that I purposefully put things away in a certain way,
in a certain fashion, so I don't actually have to deal with some hassle of it later down the road, or as much as possible. So stuff like welcome back, welcome back, CB. Welcome back. All right. So that's why been doing it in a certain way now, right? You know, stuff like that. And yes, folks, I do technically have American currency.
I have one American currency. Like, literally. Someone gave it to me.
Someone just gave it to me, right? My friend's dad, right? I haven't seen them for a while. It's actually been a while, so hopefully they're doing well still. You know, they were really nice. I still remember. Oh yeah, I still remember, cause like they live out in a more rural environment, right? So like I was helping them out and stuff like that, right? And I still remember that this Letterman multi-tool that I had, right? I just bought it, right? I brought it out with me because there was a estate sale, right? I'm like, oh, I might need it to cut some things or you know, cut some line to tie things with or whatever, open up a box or whatever, right? And they're like, hey, Sierra, can I, do you get, you know, they're like, hey, do you got a cutting tool on you? I'm like, yeah. Like, you need it? Yeah, right? So I'm like, so I lent them the Letterman multi-tool, right? I come, right? I'm like, careful, it's sharp. I just got it, right? You know? And the next thing I see is like, they come back and it's like, what happened to your finger? I cut myself, Sierra. I'm like, I told you it was sharp. All right? I just bought it, right? I just bought, like, not that long ago, right? It was still relatively sharp, right? I mean, even now, it's still relatively sharp, right? But I'm like, so... yeah, right? This is why I say things, right? I'm like, careful, right? Because I know it is, right? It's not, I'm not just saying it is, I know it is, right? There's a difference, right? You know what I mean? Because I've seen people just say it for the sake of saying it, right? But I'm like, oh, it's not actually that sharp, right? But if it's actually sharp, right? Yeah, actually say it because I'm actually saying it because it actually is sharp. I'm not just saying it because it's, you know, be careful. I'm saying it because it really is, right? You know, because it's got that honed edge on it and stuff like that, right? And stuff like that, you know. Because I didn't know what they were going to use it for. Like I said, it's a multi-tool still, right? So I'm just like, you know, and I told them, like, yeah, the locks and all that stuff, you know, careful, whatever, right? You know, I don't know. I think maybe they kept themselves on the edge or maybe they were closing my multi-tool. I don't know. One or two, right? You know. Man, I like that multi-tool so much. Speak of which. I gotta remember where I put it now. Yeah, see, I'm kind of glad I kind of remember now. Because clearly I need to trace my steps on it. Yeah, I clearly need to retrace my steps on it because of all things right now, that would be a very important thing to make sure that I did not misplace or whatever. So that'd be nice if I do that, right? Let's see here. See? I knew there was a reason why I did this stream. It's to remind me not to misplace things. Among some other things that I have, right? Among some other things. Actually, now that I think about it, I really should actually be doing that, right? Friggin' hell. Yep. I definitely need to do it. I must have put it away. See? I'm kind of glad I did that. Oh, yes, Sandy. That's unfortunate. And obviously, you probably don't have any reserves of rainwater or collection anymore, right? You know? Because obviously, if it's been that hot, you probably have worn down
your water supply of some sort, right? For irrigation and stuff like that. Apparently. Sorry, I'm making a bunch of noise. I'm looking for it right now. Because now it's gonna bug me. After everything I just said about everything, I'm just like, damn it. I really shouldn't be a hypocrite about it and actually take a look. So apparently I am. Besides, it's not bug me anyway. It's definitely not bug me about it anyway, so I might as well. It's not bug me anyways. I know it is because I'm like, I know it is. I know it's not bug me. And I don't see it. Yep, it's definitely not bug me now. Because, see how I cannot present it right now, right? That means, right now, if something happened and I required that tool, think about it right now. Maybe it's not a wallet, right? It doesn't have cash with it, but it's still valuable in terms of resource, and I cannot locate it right now, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I got a Gerber one, right? But that's not Letterman that I have. Right? This is why it's very, very important to try to organize your stuff. And also make sure that when you move things around and stuff like that, to make sure that you still know where your stuff is. Because apparently I'm not. 2.5 weeks. So you haven't seen rain all month, have you? Or anything significant enough, right? Damn it. See, now this is gonna frustrate me because I'm like, I thought I was in control still of what I was doing. Apparently I need to, like, take a look. Because apparently I'm not in control of the situation. Because I thought I put it to the side. Wait, did I... Hold on a sec. Sorry. I feel like... Did I put it in the basket? Yeah, like I said, I should be in control. Like where I store it, it is very, very... It's not just the tool itself, right? Because there's some other things with it, because it's a part of a kit, too, right? So that's another reason, too, why I'm just like, I actually want to find it now, because I'm not done to end the stream until I find it. It feels like that right now. I see every other last thing, right? Yeah, it's like literally I'm seeing like every other last thing here. Every single last thing, everything's that I know of, right? But I cannot find this one thing. Ugh. That's just gonna tick me off now. And my battery's starting to drop out on me here. So I'll probably go for another, because I need to charge up my device here anyways. I'll probably go for another 5 minutes here, guys, folks, so. Another 5 minutes on the stream here. Yeah, another 5 minutes here. I gotta remember what time it is, too, so. Let's see. See, clearly, I need to take my own device here and actually find my own stuff here. Because that's... Because I haven't used it for a while and I just rearranged a bunch of stuff. I'm just like... Damn poetic justice here. The irony of it after talking about it. After just talking about it, right? After just talking about it, too. Because it's going to disappoint me that I did not secure that away. Yeah, it's definitely not. And I still can't find it, so this is not good. You know, honestly, I would have put it in. I didn't secure it. See? Yeah. So yes. So about 4 more minutes here. You know, it's funny. I can find everything right now, and I can't find the one thing I would like to find right now. Yep. 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 That's definitely not good. That's definitely not good. I could, you know, it's funny. I could have sworn I had it the other day too, right? Maybe it isn't. Hold on a sec. I put because I was kind of rearranging some stuff, so I kind of put some things into a box here. So I didn't think I would have buried it in the box though. Like, I just have some miscellaneous stuff in here. I know that. I didn't think I actually put the multi-tool in here. Oh, yes. I remember you talking about that in another live stream, Sandy. I do remember that. See, now this is not irk me now. I know it is now. Of all the things, right? Apparently I did the streams to remind myself about it. Apparently, because I still can't find it. Right now. I still can't find it. I still don't see it. Still don't know where it is. And it's not irking me. No. Oh yeah, this is definitely not irking me about it. I should have it. Yeah. Yeah. Stupid poetic justice. The irony of it. Well, the irony of it. Right there. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, the irony. The irony of it right there. See? I'm actually not BSing you guys. I cannot find it, right? If I had it, I would show it, right? And I can't even. Oh yeah, thanks, Sandy. Thanks. It's pretty right where you hit the CR. Okay, yeah. Well, I moved so much stuff around, and I'm like, damn it. You know, because I haven't used it for a little while. I don't remember seeing it even yesterday too. Oh, that's not. It's not taking me off, right? Because I had to throw some stuff out, and I'm like, there's no way. No way I would have been like so careless to throw it out, right? Yeah, I get it, right? It's gears replaceable, blah 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 blah, but it's because I spent time and effort on it. Okay, guys, that's why. Because I spent time and effort on it. Wait. Did I put it over here? No, I did not. Hold on a sec.
So yeah. I still can't find it. Oh, that's not. I cause now like, cause I should have it. I should actually have it. I have the other things. I know I have the other things. Of course. Of course. I can't see it. I can't find it. And I know it's not there or there. I just got my first passport on it. Oh, I see. Well, I should welcome you at the border, hey, Sandy? Welcome you at the border. Damn it. Yep. Well, I was in such a great mood. Yeah, like I said, I thought I was in control, right? I'm like, I moved some things around here, so many things that I'm like, there's no way. See, now that's not bug me now. Anyways, here. Hopefully you'll show up, and I guess you'll know because I'll have to mention the next thing because I cannot find it right now. Whatsoever. I can't find it whatsoever right now. I have other things. So, like, always, everyone. Remember, because I'm ending the stream too. Things are changing out there. So, we're gonna need to adapt to this too, the best way that we can. You know? And that skill, that knowledge out there, you know, it is important. Even nowadays, right? You know? It's nice to have conveniences, right? Don't get me wrong, but who are you without that? Who are you without the gear, right? And apparently I am the person without Leatherman multi-tool right now. So I guess we'll really see who I am without it too. And when possible, try to help someone when possible. Until the next live stream / video, take care everyone. And I'll see you all later, and all the best from CR. Take care.